So this will be an ITIL foundation course in 1 hour. I have 250 slides, so stick with me. No. Yeah, my name is Thomas. I'm a partner at CFN People, a small Danish consultancy company. We work in the domains of IT governance and IT service management. Our primary customers are Danish, global-based customers. So we work all over the world. What I'm going to talk about is try to give you another perspective of Kepner-Tregoe. I've talked to Stefan, as he said, during a party, and I tried to explain during the party that the whole world was not centered about Kepner-Tregoe, and he said the same thing about ITIL to me, so that was why we came together later on. Just very short about ITIL. Yeah, I can say that we use a lot of time developing and also making these frameworks. We have participated in the development of ITIL version 3. We are not religious about it. If you meet anyone who is religious about ITIL, go away from them. They do not understand the concept. We have also participated in the development of COVID version 5 that's just been released. So we use a lot of our time on this. But very short about ITIL. It comes from IT Infrastructure Library. And it is a good practice. Again, this is not a foundation course, but ITIL is a framework addressing service management, IT service management. So how do we manage IT services? It's a library built upon some books, and the core books is something about strategy, how you develop your service strategy, how you design your services, how you transition your services into operation, how you, what you do during the operation phase, and how you continue service improve on these services. So that's basically what ITIL is. You could also say it in some other words that it's just a catalog of good ideas. It's nothing else. Just like all other frameworks, like Kepner-Tregoe also, it's some tools that you can use if you have specific challenges that you want to solve. We use ITIL to solve some of our customers' challenges. We use COVID, we use TOGAF, we use standards. We use a lot of different tools to solve the specific concerns that our customers have. So we only see these frameworks as tools. There's also one more very interesting or very important thing about ITIL, and that is that it is also a common language. So if I work for one company and I have learned something about ITIL on an ITIL foundation course, then if I go to another company, they will probably understand most of what I'm saying. So that's very good that you have a common language. But you need to be very careful, because the moment you step out of IT, they don't understand what you're saying. So ITIL is an IT language. So, and we say that it is common sense, but there is certain degrees of common sense. So you have to take care when you use these ITIL terms, like incidents and so on. Try to tell a user that they have an incident. No, I have a problem. No, you have an incident. No, I have a problem. So there's some small issues there, but it is an IT language, a common terminology for IT. Yes. How Kepner-Tregoe can improve your ITIL processes from an ITIL perspective. And again, I'm not religious about this, but I'll try to look at it from an ITIL perspective. Does anyone suffer from motion sickness here? Because if you do, it will be quite a challenge to follow this presentation. But ITIL incident management and problem management describes well how to manage incidents and problems, but not how to solve them. And that is deliberate, because there's a lot of other good frameworks and techniques who tells you how to do that. So in an ITIL book, under incident management, you will only find maybe 5 or 6 rows telling you how to solve an incident. So So it's very high level. It only tells you that you need to solve them. But how do I do? It's not in the books. So, and where there are other good frameworks, other good techniques, why should we reinvent them? So ITIL doesn't do that. But the Kepner-Tregoe fills the gap about the way that we could solve these incident problems. In ITIL, there's in fact a reference to Kepner-Tregoe. I don't know why it's only in the problem management process, and I'll come back to what problem management is according to ITIL. Because in fact, I have seen Kepner-Tregoe used more in incident management than in problem management, but it is in the reference is in the problem management part. And it can improve the processes significantly. So the purpose is to show where Kepner-Tregoe can support the how, in fact, how you could do this, how you could improve these processes. And this is not exhaustive, it is from the ITIL perspective. There is a fundamental difference between processes in ITIL and in Kepner-Tregoe. So that is important to know. It's not the same. ITIL processes are defined on a higher level. And they are defined in another way. So in an ITIL perspective, Kepner-Tregoe processes is merely techniques. And you can use these techniques in different kinds of processes. So in fact, you can use what is a PA, problem analysis, Kepner-Tregoe process. You can use that in maybe incident management, maybe in problem management, maybe in other processes in ITIL. ITIL is very focused on processes. The version 2 was very process focused. Now it's service focused, but there's still a lot of process in. And a lot of people who are using the ITIL framework as a catalog of good ideas, they struggle with getting these processes to work in their day-to-day life. Many of our customers come and tell us, yeah, we have this problem management process. We have documented. We have a beautiful process. We have these, look at this. We have a lot of paper on this, but it doesn't work. And what Kepner-Tregoe can add to these processes is, in fact, the skills, because what is a problem management process worth if no one can solve problems? So when we work with customers, we try to turn it around and say, okay, you're allowed to talk about a process, but not before you have showed that you can solve actual problems. Because then you know what it is. Then we can talk about the process. The process is not so important here. So we turn the whole thing about, around here in the implementation part here. So let's walk through these ITIL processes. I'm only taking these three. I think we have 28, 29, 30 processes in the new ITIL version. I'm only taking these three basic processes. I have a passion for these three, so that's my main focus now. Incident management is about restoring service as fast as possible and minimize the adverse impact. So we focus on the present. We need to get things up running safely, cheaply, quickly. When we have done that, we may go to problem management. And the focus on problem management is not like, there's a lot of people saying that the focus here is we need to find the root cause. No, the focus is preventing recurrence. That is the focus. Maybe to find the root cause is the mean to do that, but the focus, the purpose of this process is to prevent recurrence. And you said it, Mark, during your presentation. I was very happy to hear that. So that is the focus, that is the purpose of this. Then we have the change management process, and the change management process is when we want to change something, then we run it through this change management process. It can be a corrective change, and if it comes from incident and problem, it will be a corrective change. It could also be an enhancement, a new service coming in. We will also put that into change management. But I will, of course, focus on the corrective part here. So this is how these processes mainly work together. I also heard that problem management, a lot of people are talking about proactive problem management. In ITIL, problem management is, as I see it, and reactive process. It's not a proactive process. Someone say that trend analysis is proactive. As I see it, if we have a trend, for me it's reactive. We have hundreds of incidents, and now we find out that there's a trend, and we want to find out how we can prevent the recurrence. I cannot see that that is very proactive. That is reactive still. The real proactive process, yeah, Mark, you talked a lot about proactive processes, but the real proactive part is the change management part. Not in the context of correcting errors, but all the processes that work with some kind of risk assessment, that's proactive, because you try to anticipate the future and do something before it happens. That is truly proactive. So it's just about how these three processes relate to each other. In most tools, we could have incidents. They are recorded as incident records. If we want to raise a problem, yeah, then we will raise a problem record and relate it. And again, a change record and we relate it. About these two processes, what is important there is that incident and problem, the symptom is the same. Because in fact here we are just splitting the problem-solving process up into two. The first part is trying to get a short-term corrective action, and the next part is getting a permanent corrective action. So in fact we are just splitting a process up into two, but the symptom that they're working with is the same. So that's very important to know that. Okay, so motion sickness now. Here's the three processes. You don't need to read what's in the boxes, but that's the ITIL activities, the activities in the different processes. And I will start to try to match the KT processes into these ITIL processes. The first I will look at is the situation appraisal. And in the incident management process, you all know situation appraisal, answer the questions, what's going on, and what should we do first. So there's a lot of good stuff that you can use if you are working with an ITIL incident management process. Because again, ITIL is on a higher level. So there's a lot of good questions you can ask. There's another way of prioritizing than there is in the ITIL books and so on. So there's got a lot of good inspiration. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but use it as inspiration. So for the logging, categorization, prioritization, there's something to get there. Yeah, I don't need to explain concern for you. But this situation appraisal is well suited. In fact, we have a lack of that process in ITIL. I don't know why, but we should have had a situation appraisal process or service desk process, or call it whatever you want, in ITIL. Because right today we have, in fact, what you see up there, situation appraisal, we have both in incident management, and we also have the exactly same activities in request fulfillment, taking care of service requests. So in fact, it would have been better if we have built this upon a situation appraisal, and then we could sort it out in different processes. But that must be for version 4 to get there. I think even though there's a lot of skeptics about ITIL, I think ITIL is very good, extremely good if you use it for what it was meant to use, as a catalog of ideas. But of course there are defects also in ITIL. The problem is that if you just take your head off and don't use your common sense and just read what's in an ITIL book and then transform some of the defects into your operations, into your organization, then it goes wrong, and then it will get a bad reputation. One of the defects, as I see it, is that when you want to prioritize an incident management, in ITIL, the definition of urgency confuses impact and time frame. So it's very, very difficult for service desk staff to understand how to do this when the definition is confusing these things. So there is some inspiration that you could use from the way that Kepner-Tregoe does its things. Going out again. So Let's go into investigation and diagnosis in the incident management process. Why did it happen? Is that incident management or problem management? A lot of people working with ITIL think that that is problem management. Why should we care about the cause when we solve incidents? But the fact is that in many cases when we solve incidents, we need to know, you could call it the immediate cause or the triggering cause. We need to know the cause to solve the incident also, to get things up running again. It's not always that we have a workaround, that we could just restart the server or whatever we can do. Sometimes we need to find out, yeah, this network switch has a defect module, we have to switch the module. So sometimes we need to know the immediate cause or triggering cause, or call it whatever you will. It's a cause. So, so problem analysis is very often used, or should be used, as I see it, in incident management. Let me try to explain. There's some fundamental difference again here with the word problem. Over here you can see the ITIL definition of problem. Here you can see the Kepner-Tregoe definition of problem. They are totally different. If I start with the Kepner-Tregoe, it's about finding a cause. If I need to know the cause and it's unknown, then I'll go into this. And it could be in incident management, it could be in problem management. We have this definition of a problem in ITIL, and I will say that the Englishman has given us a lot of good stuff. ITIL has given us a lot of good stuff, but the definition, ITIL definition of the word problem is not among that. I've shown this to my wife, and even though I only showed her the first part of this, only the problem, the problem definition, a cause for one or more incidents, it simply doesn't make sense. And this is where a word with a lot of baggage from the day-to-day speak of all kind of people are getting a very specific meaning, and that is, in this case, a problem in itself. But and that's why I think that you should not focus so much about the definition. You should know the definition, but focus more about what is the purpose of the processes. It's much easier to handle when you focus on the purpose instead of the definition of some specific words. And I think, again, Kepner-Tregoe is very logical for me, but still, it is another way of defining a problem. My wife would define it in another way than this. So because of this, problem analysis in Kepner-Tregoe can be used in both problem management and incident management, because you need to find causes sometimes to solve the cases. So let me explain here. You probably know the drawing from Kepner-Tregoe. We have the performance, we have the timeline, the present, the future, and the past. We have the should. This is a standard of how things should be performing. And suddenly something happened, and then we have the actual, we have a degrade in the performance. Getting from here and up to here, that is incident management. And I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how many causes you need to find to do it. As long as you're going from here to here, it is incident management. It could also be major incident management. That's just the impact of the incident, but it's still incident management. So sometimes we need to know the triggering cause to take effective action. Sometimes we don't. So sometimes we need to know a little bit about this, but sometimes we just have a workaround and we'll get up again. When we are up running, we could ask ourselves, could we accept this? Can we accept this from happening again? And is it probably, or is there is it probable that this will happen again? And if we cannot accept that, we'll go into the problem management analysis. We will in ITIL raise a problem record, and the purpose of this is to prevent this from happening again. And the only way we can do this is to understand what happened up here. And not only the immediate cause, but you also need to understand what caused the immediate cause, or the triggering cause, and what caused the cause. And there's a lot of people are talking about root cause, but the fact is that all problems has many causes. And good solutions are often a complex mix of a lot of good solutions. Simple solutions, but a lot of solutions on different causes. But all problems have many causes. And this is always a change. I think, Mark, your last bullet was something about change. This is always a change. And there are 3 categories of change that can bring this down. There are accidents. That's when we do changes and it goes wrong. So that's accidents. Then we have natural, if lightning strikes or decay or whatever it could be, and then we have a crime. These are the only 3 categories that can create this. This could be a change in expectation. It doesn't need to be a component, some technical stuff, but it's still a change. And it's the same causes that the firemen are working with. The firemen, when they have extinguished the fire, they will start looking at why did it happen, the fire investigation, and those are the 3 categories of causes that they will look for. And you need specific techniques to try to find each of them. So here are some incident examples, and the first one, I know the cause. There's a user that cannot log in. I give the user the access rights, and then the user can log in again. So I know the immediate cause or the triggering cause. I don't know why he didn't get these. Why he didn't get this access from the beginning, but I know the triggering cause of this, so I can solve it. The next incident, I know the cause. I don't know the cause, and I don't need to know it. So it's just we have an application that freezes. I just restart the server, reboot the server, and we are up running again. So I don't need to know it. It's a classical workaround. The last one in incident management, I don't know the cause, but I need to know it to restore. And that's the example with a network switch. Yeah, we need to know not why this switch had this failure, but we need to know that this is the switch that is causing the unavailability, because we cannot get up running again. So I need to find the cause, even though I'm in incident management. Then later on, I can go to problem management and say, what can I do to prevent this from happening again? In this case, it's also very, you need to be very clear of what the problem is, because if you state that the problem is a network switch, then I will ask, why did it burn off, or why did it fail? And I'll just say, I don't know, it just failed. But if I move the problem a level up and say, no, the problem is not the switch, the problem is the unavailability it created for the business, then I get a lot of possible causes and many other possible solutions. So you have to always move the problem identification, the problem statement up to the business impact. You get a lot more possible solutions when you do that. And yeah, we often take for granted that the IT specialists, they are very good at solving incidents and problems. But what they can, in fact, is that yeah, they know the theory, they know the practical ways to make it work, typical ways it breaks, and common ways to fix it. And that is not sufficient anymore, because what we see often in IT now is we see similar effects with different causes. So we need to be careful also to say that, yeah, we probably have a trend here. Be very, very careful when you do that, because it could be different problems you have. So of course we need something, a methodology to help us. And that's again where Kepner-Tregoe can help. I probably don't need to sell Kepner-Tregoe to you, but this was meant for ITIL people also, so yeah. So that was, we have the major incident procedure. And as I see it, the Kepner-Tregoe processes, rational processes, they were made for this. They are really made for these complex situations. So in fact, in ITIL, there's not much about how to manage major incidents, as we call them, critical incidents. But I think that Kepner-Tregoe, instead of inventing the things again, why not just using what there is and what works? So I think that this is a very good framework for handling these things. Oh. Let's go to problem. Problem management, investigation, diagnose. That's, again, the problem analysis. Why did it happen? In problem management, you always need to understand the cause and effect relationships. So we need to make this drawing. And I have had some some customers with problems where, in fact, we knew all the causes when we came to problem management. Because the purpose of problem management is to prevent recurrence. But we knew all the causes, so it was just mapping these causes and then find some way to implement some solutions so we prevented this from happening again. Because we have found the causes, triggering cause, and when we found the triggering cause, a lot of the other causes suddenly pops up, so it was quite easy to do that. Maybe we used half an hour to make this map of cause and effect relationship in problem management. But in incident management, when we solve it, maybe we use 2 or 3 days to try to find the cause. So problem management can sometimes be very easy. Sometimes it's very difficult because we haven't found the triggering cause in incident management. So again, I haven't seen anything better than Kepner-Tregoe problem analysis, so I swear to this process. Later on, we need to, as I said, all problems has many causes. And as long as there are many causes, we can also identify many solutions. So we have to decide which solutions to implement. So we could use decision analysis. I will not say that it should be used all the time. But at least if we have some complex choice we need to make, or we need to have an audit trail or decision in a group, then we could use decision analysis for choosing the right solution. That was problem management. Then I'll go into change management. And change management, potential problem analysis, that is a Kepner-Tregoe process that I can see can be used in change management. And despite the name, it has not much to do with the ITIL problem management, because it's much more risk-based. And change management is about risk, to anticipate what can happen in the future and then do something before it goes wrong. We have a lot of other processes. I think, Mark, you mentioned most of them. We have the capacity management, continuity management, information security management, ITIL processes. We have service portfolio management if we go up to the strategic level, and so on. So we have a lot of processes where risk assessment is a really important activity in these processes. And as I see it, PPA could be used in these processes. So, in fact, if you look at ITIL full scope, then PPA has almost nothing to do with problem management in ITIL. But of course, if you don't have any change management process, then you will need to do something in the problem management process to make sure that these changes go right. So. Again, I'll just, another activity, very important activity in change management. First we have the risk part, and then we also have the decision part. Should we make this change or not? What is the business case? What is the risk? And so on. We need to coordinate this, and of course, to make this decision, we could go in and use decision analysis. Again, I don't see it used all the time, but in more complex decision, I would certainly use something like decision analysis. Yeah, no motion sickness yet. So to do it, wrap it up very shortly, here we have the 3 ITIL processes. Incident management, the purpose of that process is to restore service and minimize the adverse impact. So we are in the present, we're talking about here and now, talking about getting things up running. And it can be tough, it can take a lot of time, it's still incident management. The impact can be huge, it's still incident management. So we are dealing with the effect, and we are also sometimes dealing with some kind of cause. Problem management, the purpose of that is to prevent recurring incidents. So it's not about finding the root cause or whatever it is, it's just prevent recurrence. Yeah, the solution you found, that is a workaround, that is an automated workaround. I don't care. We want to prevent recurrence. So if we can do that, call it whatever you want. If you want to call our solution a workaround, yeah. If you call what we do to find a root cause, yeah, do that. But that is the aim of this. And change management enable beneficial changes with a minimum of disruption. So there we are looking at the future, likely causes, likely effects, and that's why there's a lot of PPA stuff in that part. And if we do the mapping, and this is a model, so it's very simplified. But if we put in Kepner-Tregoe situation appraisal, yeah, it's a very good idea to use this in incident management. I would use situation appraisal every time I hand over a case to another team or whatever it is, so it will pop up again and again and again and again. It's a fantastic process. So I've just showed it here as the first part of the incident management. What should we do? Yeah, something about the decision analysis. We need to make decision in all the processes. Problem analysis, it's about incident management and problem management to find causes. We need to maybe find the cause of the cause. And PPA and POA, that's the part of change management. That's it. Any questions or concerns? What questions or concerns do you have? So, yeah, I have learned a little. So.
Right, Thomas,
yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.